Welcome to the coronavirus documentary. I'm Seema and I work in real estate downtown Toronto. I came across the documentary on Instagram. Javon posted a little video and I thought the concept was super cool. The idea of kind of getting different people's perspectives on the whole pandemic and how they're dealing with isolation and just the whole normal around us. So again, I work in real estate. That's the first question. So I'm a sales person and I've been doing that for about 3 years. I think for me, things became super real when I started noticing friends coming back earlier from trips. So I think it was around early March. Airports started closing because it was starting to become more widespread. And my best friend was in Malta. And she had called me and she said they're planning to book another flight and then fly in early because the Malta airport was closing. So I think for me, that was a moment of like, whoa, like things are getting really serious because like Malta's off the coast of Italy. So I think they were just trying to make sure nobody really enters and exits the country anymore. So they booked their flight earlier and then flew back into Toronto. I think that, in addition to noticing friends like starting to work from home, friends that work for like big companies and big corporations were really migrating the workforce and starting to work from home. And that to me was a big step because getting those like older businesses and companies to embrace work from home is hard to do. And so only something like this would kind of lead to that. So I think those were kind of my two big, whoa, like this is actually super real. So I'm going through a list of questions. The next one is, what were some of the first things on your grocery list? So for me, we grabbed a lot of bread because we're Middle Eastern, we eat bread with everything, but also because bread is super kind of filling, so you can eat it you can eat it any time of day and you're good. And so we got a lot of fresh bread from like a local bakery and kind of froze it. Other things we grabbed were frozen pizza. We grabbed a lot of that. We got tea, we got some wine, and then I got, what else? I know I grabbed bananas at the time because I was working out a lot and I thought I can freeze bananas and they'll taste good regardless. I stopped working out since, but still. And then we got a lot of dried fruits and toothpaste and things like that. Okay. The next question is, how prepared were you on a scale of 1 to 10? And what do you think you could have done better? Honestly, on a scale of 1 to 10, I think my preparedness was probably at most a 5. I think like mentally I had no concept of like how to handle a pandemic or what that even meant. I think I'm still trying to, like, I think it's a day-to-day thing with this. I think we're all just kind of like seeing how we can handle it. So preparedness, I think a 5 at most. I live with my family too. So I think like in terms of resources and stuff, like we were pretty prepared because we're like a bigger family. But yeah, in terms of like mental preparedness, I think I was a 5. Next question is, how was your work impacted? I think if anyone was watching the real estate market in Toronto, you could see that it was super hot for a really long time. Everyone was saying the bubble was going to burst. And I think what's happening now is it's really slowing down compared to early March, like first week of March to this first week of April. You can really tell the MLS listings that are being posted downtown core are just depleting weekly. And I think that's because people are in a state of emergency and they just don't understand what's going to happen with the market. So similar to what's happening with a lot of the stock market, the real estate market is following suit, and people are just kind of being more cautious and using reserve money to kind of prepare for what's going to happen. But I think there are also those that are taking advantage of the little bit of a price break and trying to get into the real estate market now if they have excess cash flow. But I think definitely a lot of listings have depleted off the market. So it's slowed down, to say the least. Next question is, what have you been doing with your time now that you have this break? The biggest thing I'm doing with my time, I think, is I'm trying to use it productively, but I find myself sleeping. And I'm also finding myself talking to friends a lot more than I would through like FaceTime or Zoom or like things like that, which has been fun. I think like we can't interact face to face, so like all of our like gossip sessions are happening on FaceTime. What else have I been doing? I've been baking, as I feel like a lot of the world has, and I've been trying to pick up reading, and I've been spending a lot more time with my family. I think that's a big one. I have 3 brothers, and I'm just spending a lot more time with them. Okay, the next question is, what has been the funniest thing that you've seen related to the virus so far? I think for me, honestly, the funniest thing has been watching people just do the most irrational things, like how everyone went crazy for toilet paper, and then just like the crazy lines for like different grocery stores and things like that. I think like something interesting that's come out of the virus though is our concept of normal has really changed. So I think like nobody would have thought in January that it would be normal for everyone to stay home and be like FaceTiming or doing things like that. So I think that's the most interesting thing to come out of this, is like the idea that we're so malleable, and like our ideas of normal, or our ideas of like what we should be doing on a day-to-day can so easily change if it needs to change. I think that's been like the most interesting thing for me. Okay, well that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. If you want to stay in touch, you can follow me on Instagram at the Toronto Link.